Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight. Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America. It's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Have you ever, any dog owners in the audience? Anyone have a dog? If you have a dog and sometimes you open a new bag of dog food and somehow, am I quiet? Am I really quiet? I don't feel like I'm quiet. It seems normal. No, it's fine, isn't it? Here, is that better? Does that make me a little louder? I don't know. Maybe turn the gain up a little bit. Try that. I don't like to put in the gain up though, because then you smack my mouth all the time, which is bad enough because I do it already. Anyway, if you have a dog, and sometimes you open a new bag of dog food, right? And if I'd like to cut just the corner off usually. Pretty low audio? What is going on? Why is there low audio? Check 1, 2. No, it seems normal to me. Anyway, if you have a dog and you open a new bag of dog food while you're doing a countdown on your show, which you may not do that, but you know what I mean, and you accidentally rip it too far, and then the dog food falls, and then it's all over your kitchen floor. And your dog, well, if you don't clean it up right away, your dog will eat every bit of it. Well, that's what happened. So I had to clean up some dog food and fix that. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we are talking Nazi rallies. In fact, I have a picture of the Nazi rally they keep talking about. Oh, wait. That's the Democratic National Convention. Excuse me. That was from 1992. That's not the 1939 Nazi rally, but it may as well be, because it apparently the new rule, like Bill Maher would say, new rules. If you hold a campaign rally or a political rally in a building with the same name as the building that some Nazis did in 1939, well, damn it, you are a Nazi. I did not see that coming. Anyway, so yeah, there is a what do you call it? A concerted effort by the media and the left, and that's redundant, to paint the Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden, the new Madison Square Garden. In fact, this Madison Square Garden is twice removed from the Madison Square Garden from 1939, because they've rebuilt it and moved it twice or 3 times. This is the 3rd or 4th Madison Square Garden they've built. Anyway, and they're pre-written headlines from a couple days ago before the rally, determining that Donald Trump's a Nazi. So anyway, we're going to talk a lot about that today, because that's really the biggest trending topic in the world right now. I mean in the world. The British newspapers are all over it, and they're all excited because, remember Hillary Clinton deemed Nazi rally a couple weeks ago, and then Tim Walz picked up on it, and Kamala Harris picked up on it. Now they're calling it fascist and this and that and blah, blah, what's that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, it's like, you are nuts. You are all nuts. So, what did you give me from the BBC here? Yeah. Oh, no, that's the Rogan interview. Okay. And then the Rogan interview happened. Did we talk about that on Friday at all? Not really. That was pretty good. Look, if you listen to the pundits or those paid influencers on X, there's there's about 40 of them, and they all basically spit out Democrat talking points every day, and a lot of times they use the same ones, sometimes verbatim. It's kind of funny. Once in a while you will see that 2 or 3 of them will I'm sure they get these talking points from the White House, because they will literally write the exact same line And it's not like they're cutting and pasting each other, because sometimes they'll do them almost immediately the same time just as they get their talking points for the day. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, the Rogan interview, it's like this one guy, Brooklyn Dad Defined. He's kind of a jag. He's a former criminal anyway. He posted so the interview went for 3 hours. And he posted this 15 seconds of it, where Donald Trump misspoke, kind of. I mean, he said something and it was kind of just a misspeak, whatever. And he said, "This interview is terrible. This shows that Donald Trump's cognitive decline." He posted 15 seconds of a 3-hour interview. And the interview itself was just Rogan and Trump kind of talking. It wasn't even like an interview. I mean, yeah, Rogan asked questions, but it wasn't like, it was all pretty off the cuff. I mean, Rogan had some topics he wanted to talk about, but they just talked for 3 hours. And I watched a lot of clips from it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. But there's long extended clips of them just talking, and it's like Donald Trump will answer any question and actually give you answers and have some substance to it. And if you listen to that, if a normal person who has not really paid attention to Donald Trump only hears the media calling him, he's racist, and he's a Nazi, and he's a fascist, blah 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 blah, and you see them sitting there with Joe Rogan, which, by the way, it has like 30 million views. If you look at that, you go, wow, Trump's a fairly normal guy. I mean, he's, because even the stuff that I see Trump most of the time is from the media. So they're always trying to put him in his worst light. And I still, Trump's kind of a braggadocio ass, dick. What do I call him? Not a dickhead, because he's not a dickhead. He's a bit of a jackass, right? But I like that about him. He's a jackass in a good way. He's the kind of jackass that can deal with other jackasses. When everyone you're dealing with is a jackass, you need someone who understands all the jackasses. So I'm fine with him being the president. I'm not voting for a saint. I'm not voting for the Pope. I'm not voting for an angel on high. I'm voting for a president who can do shit and maybe, hopefully, undo some shit. See what I did there? So that's why I'm voting for him. That's it. By the way, I know AD, you were making fun of me the other day. Not making fun of you. You were commenting on how many T-shirts I have. And yes, I have lots of T-shirts. And in fact, I was down. It was sad because I hadn't done like all my laundry in a while. Like I do underwear and socks, but I didn't do everything. And so I was down to just a handful of T-shirts. And as I was going through my T-shirt drawer, by the way, I just did laundry this weekend. It took all weekend. All that. But anyway, when I look at this shirt I dug out. I still have an Undoomed shirt from 2015. I gotta tag him on X and let him know that I wore an Undoomed shirt today. I was like, wow, I forgot I had this. I think I've only worn it like 3 times. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. If you don't know who Undoomed is, go figure it out. He's he doesn't do a lot of video anymore, but he's a good dude. And a lot of times he'll pop in on the on what do you call it, AAA, and sometimes sometimes he goes on with Ranting Monkey, whatever. But yeah. So anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get the show started, because we're going to talk a lot about this. In fact, Gunfox, thank you. You are the new Streamlab Superstar, sponsor of the day, sponsor of the show. Putting a couple Hamiltons in the tip jar, and just right on topic too, because holy shit, it's just the reactions to look. It was very obvious what they were going to do. Not prequel. What's the word you say when they not projected? They telegraphed. they telegraphed what they were going to do all week long with this Madison Square Garden rally for Donald Trump, because they were talking about the fucking 1939 Nazi rally. And it's funny because Kamala Harris said something about it, how Roosevelt really opposed this rally they were doing in 1939. No, he didn't. Most of those rally attendees were Democrats. And in fact, also, which is the other thing funny about that, they keep talking about that, but they don't talk about the rally, the Ku Klux Klan rallies in those days too, which were all supported by Democrats. But anyway, they keep trying to compare this as if no other entity had a political rally between now and 1939 in Madison Square Garden, whichever of the three buildings you're talking about, because it's been in three different buildings. And the, like, for example, Harry Truman had a rally in Madison Square Garden. Bill Clinton had a rally. In fact, the 1992 Democratic National Convention was in Madison Square Garden. The Barack Obama had, what the fuck was that? Had a rally in Madison Square Garden. Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Had a rally in Madison Square Garden. Hillary Clinton, the Antichrist herself, had a rally in Madison Square Garden. But Trump's rally, Donald Trump's rally, reminded them of the Nazi rally in 1939. Let's say hi to everybody. Good morning, Avocados Dowdley, who's first in the chat. Yes, you get the bell. Also, good morning, Kara Soldier, Lord Stanhope, Mike Savage, Marg. Balin Bobby's in the house. JB's here. Tyler F, what's up? Good morning. My other favorite Canadian Unacceptable Views is here. Gunfox61, the ever-present and awesome administrator of the P-Dog Night Discord server. Also, good morning to GDSOB. What's up? Attack Alpaca. Did I already say that? No, I did not. Hello. Johnny Boomer Tech, of course, is here. Episkipos Helsung is here. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning to, as I scroll down the screen, Amazing Disgrace is in the house. Patio Furniture, what up? Good morning. Is that everybody? Am I getting close? I don't know. I'm scrolling. Keep that wheel a scrolling. Good morning, Maddie. How are you? And Chicago Mike, what's up, brother? How you doing? Let's see. I think that might be everybody. Green Badger Outdoors. Reaction Puerto Rico, who is totally offended by the joke made by the stupid comedian at the Trump rallies because he said something about Puerto Rico and floating trash and whatever, even though there is a lot of floating trash around Puerto Rico. There's a big trash problem in Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful... Look, when I sing the words, Puerto Rico, you lovely island, island of tropical breezes, I mean that. I truly mean that. But the other truth is there is a small problem with refuse, not only on the island of Puerto Rico, because a lot of the different American, whatever you call them, have trouble with our, waste. But there's also a problem with floating garbage floating up on beaches near Puerto Rico. The coral reefs are turning white. The many land or sea animals are dying. And so there's the issue there. So there was a kind of a double entendre that you would only understand if you knew what was going on in Puerto Rico, you lovely island. So anyway, now is that everybody? Have I missed anybody? Let's see. That looks like everybody. So if anyone else is here, I'm sure there is, but I don't see you yet. because there's 32 people, and I don't think I've said 32 names, but there's also 32 people and only 10 likes. So hit the like button, share the stream, you know. Oh, you know what? I didn't give you the, did I give you the P-Dog Night? Please do a let's go on this. Thank you, by the way. Reaction Puerto Rico. And who else? Somnambule Nation, Mike Savage, all of you gave me a let's go. Plus Somnambule Nation, of course, tweeted out the show before I did. And the tweet of the tweet of the tweet is going to be in the chat in a moment. You can open a new window or whatever and drop a let's go in the comments of that tweet. Thank you very much. Good morning, Shrapnel, too. Shrapnel's here. Good to see you. All right. So anyway, the two Streamlabs that were dropped by Gunfox. The first one says, "Get your blood pressure meds." Yeah, I don't know if it's going to take much to get me going today, Gunfox. I'm just telling you. And then the second Hamilton, he says, yes, give in to the ranting gods. Again, it's not going to be that tough. And then also, thank you for YouTube Super Chat, dropping a deuce in the tip jar. I will clean that up later. JB says, "Why hold a rally you cannot see?" LOL, not see. Yes. There you go. Oh, and Mr. Reaction of Puerto Rico drops a deuce in the tip jar, who says, I say worse shit about California and New York City daily. Right on. Thank you very much. Okay, if you want to sponsor the show, yeah, you can do that too, like these fine human beings have done already. If you want to hijack show, drop a Hamilton and an article. But if you just want to give a normal old tipperoonie to the host who's paying bills and shit, you can do that at that link that I'm pinning to the top of the chat. You've probably seen it before I said it. So, all right, let's get this show on the road. Let's start with the articles from Gunfox, and then we'll go through a couple of the trending topics. But I'm going to do the articles first because they are related to what we're doing today. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. I'm going to move that one. I'm going to move these to the front because it's as I read these articles talking about this event at Madison Square Garden. Madison, easy for me to say. Madison Square Garden. You have a 2009 Harlem Globetrotter shirt? Oh, that's awesome. You know, so my oldest T-shirt. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Here's the question of the day. And we'll put it. And this is in the Q&A. I'm not gonna answer questions today. Here's what I'm gonna put. What? We'll go through this later at the show. What is your oldest T-shirt? This is an interesting way to use this. This is me asking you a question today. Drop an answer in the Q&A box that I'm dropping at the top of the chat there, and we'll go through that a little bit later. All right. What is your oldest T-shirt? Mine. Ooh, wait a minute. Now I got to think about that. The oldest one that I know that's in a drawer that's not packed away somewhere where I can't find, I haven't looked for a while, is I still have the T-shirt from 1984 when I went to Marine Corps PLC course, platoon leaders course for college students, where I went to 10 weeks of Marine Corps training for potential future officers. And I still have the main T-shirt that we wore when we were doing PT. Has my name on the back and whatever, and the logo here and whatever, Marine Corps logo. And so there you go. That's my oldest T-shirt. Remember, put that in the Q&A section. All right, because I won't see it if you put it in the main chat. Or I might not see it. Like, for example, I see a couple of them right now. Wait, what's the wrong link I pinned? What was the wrong link I pinned oh, was it? Hang on a second here. Let's see. Oh, I pinned Reaction on Puerto Rico's link, didn't I? Here's the there's that the right one? That should be the right one. No, it's the same one. Here, let me click that link. Isn't that the tweet? Yeah, that's the right one. What are you talking about? Which link isn't? Oh, but I didn't change it in the I didn't change it in Streamlabs. So that one, if you get there, it'll be the wrong one. Let me do that real quick. Does it still fit me? I haven't attempted it. I was let's see. How much less did I weigh at that time in my life? I believe that I was roughly 60 pounds lighter then. I was only about, and now when I say this, you're gonna go, what do you mean only? I was only 220 pounds then. Now, when I'm 220 pounds on my 6'4" very large frame, I look like I'm skin and bones. Okay, I'm not super muscular at 220 pounds. When I played football, I was probably around 240. And so yeah, I look like a beanpole at 220 pounds. What did I do there? What's that? What the hell? Okay, there we go. Let me fix this in the timers just so I don't have the wrong. Wait, where's my timer box? Oh, CloudBot. There we go. So yeah, at 220 pounds, I look like a beanpole. So. Not quite like Manute Bol beanpole, but more like Derrick Rose beanpole. You probably don't even know what Derrick Rose is. Some of you, I don't know. You're not basketball fans. Not that I know of. All right, let's get to the articles because I want to talk about this. Jacqueline Freundstein, how you doing? I got a hockey jersey. It had to be before that. Pittsburgh Penguins, Jerome Ingila. How do you say his name? Ingila? That guy, hockey dude. All right, so yeah, put those in your oldest T-shirt in the Q&A. Let's start with this article about the rally. Oh no, this first one's about the Joe Rogan interview. Let's do this one first. And I personally think, well, let's see if Gunfox can get me going, because I got to tell you, that hooting and howling they do about anything Trump does is so removed from reality so many times, or it's just because they have this narrative that they want to do. So in this one, this is from the BBC, not the good kind. Stop that music. But rather this BBC, as in British Broadcasting Corporation. In a 3-hour Rogan interview, Trump reveals his biggest mistake. Yes, he did. He did say that. And it said one of his biggest, and look, at least he came up with one. Isn't that funny? Trump actually came up with one. Remember who was it that was interviewing Chameleon Harris? When they were interviewing Chameleon, she just, what would you, I don't, my biggest mistake is that I'm too perfect. She did one of those Office answers. Michael Scott. She gave a Michael Scott answer. Trusting neocons, pretty much. Yeah, it was hiring some of the people he hired. Good morning, scribe. Dog thrapple. In a 3-hour Rogan interview, Trump reveals biggest mistake. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. 3-hour interview with America's number one podcaster. America's number one podcaster? Or is he the world's number one podcaster? Now I'm curious. I thought he was the world's number one podcaster, but he's definitely America's. Anyway, Joe Rogan. That interview was released. In a wide-ranging sit-down, the former president discusses everything from the biggest mistake of his White House tenure, what he told North Korea's leader, and whether extraterrestrial life exists. 2 years ago, Rogan described Trump. Sorry. Gunfox, you're 100% right. You are going to get me going. See, they found it extremely, extremely important to put this line early in the article because people stop reading after a certain point. 2 years ago, Rogan described Trump as an existential threat to democracy and refused to have him on his show. That really wasn't it. it wasn't like he just didn't want to have politicians on his show, but then he said, what the hell, he's going to start up politicians, and he began to like the guy. In fact, he was very friendly with Trump because of Trump's involvement with the UFC. So it wasn't about that. But anyway. But, they continue, the pair seemed friendly on Friday as they chatted about their shared interest in Ultimate Fighting Championship and mutual friends like Elon Musk. The Republican campaign hopes the interview will consolidate his influence with male voters who make up the core of listeners to the Joe Rogan Experience, which has 14.5 million Spotify followers and 17.5 million YouTube subscribers, and the show itself had 30 million hits. Now, I don't know if it's unique hits, but it had 30 million plays. So that's pretty significant. Now, surely some of them were people who hate Donald Trump, but it is what it is. The Republicans campaign hopes the interview. Oh, I already said that. Trump took a major detour to visit Rogan in Austin, Texas, causing him to show up almost 3 hours late to a rally in Traverse City, Michigan, which still was a blowout. A crucial swing state where both he and his Democratic opponent, Kamala Harris, have been campaigning hard. Trump told Rogan the biggest mistake of his 2017 to 2021 presidency was, I picked a few people I shouldn't have picked. Now, look, that is an answer to the question. He's thought about it, knowing that question would come up because Kamala certainly couldn't answer that question, and he answered it. Now, whether you're someone who likes the answer or don't like the answer or thinks he could have thought of other things, that was an answer. BBC. Neocons are bad people or disloyal people, he told Rogan, referring to neoconservative policymakers who champion an interventionist U.S. foreign policy. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully but a weak person, Trump added, mentioning his former White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, who told the New York Times this week that he thought his boss had former fascist tendencies. Trump also described his former U.S. National Security Advisor, John Bolton, as an idiot, but useful at times. Well, you got my vote. Trump, he was good in a certain way, said Trump, but he's a nut job. And every time I had to deal with the country when they saw his whack job standing behind me, they said, oh man, Trump's going to go to war with us. He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East. So look, think about that. Now, I always I use the term Trump being a jackass and just a jackass enough to scare some of these leaders into not fucking with him. But, that's probably a good point. You go into a meeting with the country and you got John Bolton standing behind you, Iraq John. I'm sure any country's going to think twice about doing shit to us. So maybe he's got a good point there. And every time I had to deal with the country, when they saw this whack job standing behind me, they said, oh man, that Trump's going to start war with us. Okay, I said that. Trump said he got to know North Korean leader Kim Jong-un very well, despite some nuclear saber rattling between the two initially, when Trump said he told him, little rocket man, you're going to burn in hell. By the time I finished, we had no problem with North Korea, Trump said. Trump said he urged Kim to stop building his substantial weapons stockpile. I said, do you ever do anything else? Why don't you take it easy? Go to the beach. Relax. I said, you're always building nuclear. You don't have to do it. Relax. I said, let's build some condos on your shore. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. And whether it's true or not, the essence of what happened with Kim Jong-un is Kim Jong-un kind of chilled out when Donald Trump was president, right? Donald Trump made him feel like he was an important little fucker and anyone gave a shit about him. And that, he's like, and they got John Bolton standing back there, and the line he tweeted about you may have developed a weapon, but we have lots of weapons and ours actually work, makes him think twice. That's the jackass that I want in the White House. That's exactly the jackass I want in the White House. So, Trump also argued that Russia would have never invaded Ukraine had he been president. Well, there's certainly some anecdotal evidence to that now, isn't there? Crimea, that was during the Obama administration. Then you had 4 years of Trump. I need a cricket sound on here. That's what I need on my soundboard. Cricket, because that would have been the perfect time for a cricket sound. Trump. And then Biden, Russia invades Donbass. So there is some certainly anecdotal evidence that that very well could be true. Man, Putin would not have gone into Ukraine if Trump were in office. He would have waited till the next Democrat was in office. Because it seems like every time they do something, it's when Democrats are. Oh, wait, didn't they do some shit when George Bush was in office too? Yeah, they did. I can't remember. Was that Afghanistan? No, that wasn't Afghanistan. What did they do? When did the Russians invade Afghanistan? Was that during Clinton or was that during Bush? I can't remember. Well, anyway, one of the two. It wasn't Trump. Let's put it that way. So anyway, Trump said Putin invaded Ukraine because, number one, he doesn't respect Biden at all. The White House has previously accused Trump of cozying up to foreign autocrats. Well, guess what? If he was cozying up to them, certainly the results of peace were achieved. Now, weren't they? Sometimes you have to be close to your enemies to have some influence over your enemies. I just made that up. That was brilliant. I'm a fucking brilliant dude. I tell you, I am, every once in a while I say something smart. It's not a lot. It's not often. Usually I rely on Avocados Diablo to say the smart shit, but you know what? That's pretty fucking brilliant, I'll tell you. Anyway, so as for proof to back up his false claims that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him by mass voter fraud, Trump told Rogan, "We'll do it another time. I would bring in papers that you would not believe, so many different papers. That election was so crooked. It was the most crooked." Look, and they like to say this is false. But then they like to say that there was no voter fraud. But then they find that there was some voter fraud. And then they're like, well, there was some, but not enough to do anything. Well, I don't want any. I don't want any voter fraud. I'd like to clean that system up so that you cannot cheat. But, and I'm not saying you lost because they cheated, but certainly they lost because the media put their entire weight behind the brain-addled one, Joe Biden, right? So, I mean, the media celebrated that we did it, as they said in Time magazine. We did it. We kept Donald Trump out of office. They certainly peddle enough bullshit about Donald Trump to try to keep everyone off guard. Nazi rally. We'll get to that. Anyway, now they didn't like I'm pretty sure they didn't like when Donald Trump talked about Harris's low IQ. Trump lashed out his political. It's funny when Trump says shit about his political opponents. Trump lashed out at his political opponents, but when his political opponents talk shit about him, they have harsh criticism for Donald Trump, or they showed concern about Donald Trump for this and that. Do you think calling him Hitler is that showing concern, or is that lashing out with whatever you got? Isn't that desperation mode? What's that called? What's the theory? The Hitler theory. It's somebody put that in the chat. I can't remember what it's called. But if you have to invoke Hitler, you've already lost. They lost a long time ago. Anyway. He called his rival Vice President Kamala Harris a very low IQ person and described California Governor Gavin Newsom. Oh no, he didn't say Gavin Newsom. He said Gavin Newscum. That's his nickname. As one of the worst governors in the world. Is it Poe's law? No, it starts with, isn't there Godwin's law? It's Godwin's law. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. Hello, by the way, Andrew Thorsten. Trump said Elon Musk, who has appeared on Rogan's podcast in the past, was the greatest guy. He also said that he completely committed to bringing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. into a potential new Trump administration, the former independent president candidate. What? What? They described Kennedy as the former independent presidential candidate who has a close relationship with Rogan, dropped out in August, and endorsed the Republican nominee. Funny. Now, granted, he ended up having an independent campaign after he was running for the Democratic nomination, which they didn't allow any well, they did it. They kind of pushed him out of the primaries in the Democratic Party. But it's funny they say the former independent presidential candidate instead of former Democrat who has a close relationship with Rogan. Trump said he disagrees with Kennedy on environmental policy, so would instead ask the vaccine critic to focus on health. And see, it's funny. They want to get in these little digs. Vaccine critic to focus on health. Do whatever you want. Which is fine. He's a very huge advocate for cleaning up the food industry in this country, which we kind of need to do. I'm learning so much about the craziness of our food industry and things that we allow here that are not allowed in like the Great Britain or a lot of the UK, the European Union, as far as additives to food and the kind of stuff we use. The thing with seed oils. I've stopped cooking with seed oils. I either use avocado oil or I also make my own beef tallow. And I also use, purify bacon fat too, which is great for cooking eggs. But, because I'm learning so much about this shit and I'm already old and I want to be able to get older. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. Anyway, on extraterrestrial life, Trump said he hadn't ruled out there being life in space. Well, you'd be stupid to rule it out. And certainly they've seemingly are leaking some evidence that there probably is, or they've had some kind of contact. He said there's no reason to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, he said, referring to discussions he had with jet pilots who'd seen very strange things in the sky. Well, Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there, Rogan said. Maybe it's life that we don't know about, said Trump. Now, and they've had evidence of there possibly being water on Mars, too. So I don't know. You don't know. Does anyone know what happened, say, 40 billion years ago? Could there not have been life on Earth and there could have been life on Mars, and Mars that maybe had a, you don't know what's buried under all the Earth, so to speak, on Mars. All these, whatever, sand, soil, whatever you would call it on Mars. Imagine if on our planet we had, let's say, a meteor hit us and destroy all the life on the planet, okay? And so now it's just dirt and water, maybe ice, whatever. Or say all the water's just removed when this big thing happens. Where would life grow beyond that? Would it go to another planet? And look, there's so many fucking solar systems in the universe. It'd be stupid to think there wasn't life somewhere. And in fact, they just found a planet that has, and they keep discovering new shit. And they just found a planet in one system that has extremely Earth-like features. Water, land, sky, blue, clouds, whatever. So the idea that there's no other life on any other place in the universe would almost be ludicrous to think of. Unless, of course, you think we are so special and unique in the universe that couldn't be happening. We're just a bunch of specks on a little dot on the hair of a dog, somewhere, Anyway, what? I bet Riley Gaines is a very meaty bird. Why are you talking about Riley Gaines? What? What's going on in my chat? Y'all never go down the rabbit hole of the forever chemicals in the popular Lululemon brand clothing. It's crazy. Yeah, there's just crazy shit that we We allow ourselves to eat, wear, and breathe. Anyway, he talked about The Apprentice. Trump said some senior figures at NBC had tried to talk him out of running for president to keep his show The Apprentice on air. They wanted me to stay, he said. All the top people came over to me to try to talk me out of it because they wanted to have me extend. Trump featured in 14 series of The Apprentice from 2004, but NBC cut ties with him after he launched his 2015 bid for the presidency, citing his derogatory comments about immigrants. Trump has been under pressure from Democrats to release his medical records after Harris released hers earlier this month. I'll show you yours if you show me yours. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Is that what she's trying to say? Which concluded she was in excellent health and fit for the presidency. Trump's team said at the time that his doctor described him as being in perfect and excellent health without sharing his records. Trump didn't address the topic directly on Friday's podcast, but he told Rogan that during one physical, for which he didn't give a date, doctors had described his ability to run on a steep treadmill as unbelievable. Well, probably for his age. Why not? I mean, look, the man has been traveling constantly. I mean, he's flying all over the country doing rallies. He went from Dallas or Austin, whatever, to Michigan, and the same day he did a 3-hour interview to do a rally up in Michigan. The dude is the Energizer Bunny, it seems like. Now, certainly his physical shape for 80 or 78-year-old man, I'm sure it's probably normal or above normal for him to be able to do that. And he golfs all the time. So, it's like he's active. Now obviously he's a bit overweight, but whatever. I believe that he's healthy. Unbelievable. I was never one that could run on a treadmill. When passing a physical, they asked me to run on a treadmill and then they make it steeper and steeper and steeper. The doctor said it was at Walter Reed Hospital. They said, it's unbelievable. I'm telling you, I felt I could have gone all day. Yeah, probably not. I'm not buying that. He's exaggerating, and that's what he does. But he said treadmills are really boring, so he prefers to stay healthy by playing golf. All right, that's the whole BBC. That's the whole BBC article. Thank you, GunFox61. Yeah. Okay. Enough of that shit. Next, Gunfox dropping another one. Oh, this should be a little more interesting. Maddow Blog. Maddow Blog describes the rally at Madison Square Garden. Thank you, Gunfox61, for this one too. And this one I'm sure I will just think is the best article ever written at MSNBC. Oh, and it's by Steve Bannon, whatever the fuck his name is. But the headline says it all. With racist Madison Square Garden rally, Trump and his allies prove Democrats' point. Before Trump, and this is the subheadline, before Trump's event at New York City Arena, Democrats drew parallels to a Nazi event in 1939. After the gathering, the comparisons were unavoidable. Oh no, they were perfectly avoidable. Okay, you could have just shut your pie hole and left your pen in your pants next to the thing that's about the same size. Oh, God, I'm resorting to dick jokes. Let me stop. By the way, today's coffee is brought to you by the famous breakfast wine cup. Because it's, this is my breakfast wine. Coffee, of course. All right, here we go. Madison Square Garden in New York City is generally known as a venue for entertainment and the arts, but it has been known to hold an occasional political event. In 1939, for example, Nazis held a rally at MSG, billed at the time as a mass demonstration for true Americanism. Hey, dipshit, you do realize that was a different Madison Square Garden. But I digress because it has the same name, has the same aura, has the same feel, has the same intent. It's a big arena to do shit in. Now, I wonder if... Oh, here we go. Now, notice he doesn't mention any other political event that has occurred in Madison Square Garden. In fact, here we go. Hang on. Let me stop here for a minute. Let's see. I think I might even, did I leave an article open about that? Oh, I didn't. Well, here we go. Let's just look up something. Political rallies at Madison Square Garden. Let's see here. Now, obviously the Trump. Oh, here we go. No list of events. George Wallace rally at Madison Square Garden. Oh my God. Where's the? Oh my God. Oh my God. HuffPost article. Fascist at the Garden. The Independent. Trump camps tries to distance from racist MSG rally opener. MAGA speakers unleash ugly rhetoric at Trump Madison Square. Here, you can look at these. Here, I'm putting them on screen. Trump fills Madison Square Garden with anger, vitriol, and racist threats. MAGA speakers unleash ugly rhetoric at Trump's Madison Square Garden. 7 shocking remarks made at Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden. MSNBC shockingly edits images from Nazi rally into coverage of Trump. What? We're going to open that one from the Daily Mail. So anyway, the point I was going to make, but I can't find them right now. There's been so many political rallies at Madison Square Garden, including Hillary Clinton, including the 1992 Democratic National Convention, including Barack Obama did a Madison Square Garden event. Was that a Nazi rally? I don't know. Wrong article. This one. Here we go. So anyway, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton last week warned that Donald Trump would effectively be reenacting the event in the same arena with his scheduled rally on Sunday, adding, "I don't think we could ignore it." Fuck off, bitch. The former Republican president apparently learned of his former rival's comments, and at an event on Friday, he pushed back, saying, "She said it's just like the 1930s, Trump said," referring to Clinton. No, it's not. 2 days later, Trump had a parade of right-wing allies. And they appeared at Madison Square Garden, at which point his denials were exposed as ridiculous. NBC News reported, which is the parent company of Did I say Barry? Oh my God. Oh, it's just delayed. Did I say Barack Obama? Anyway, MSNBC reported, Trump's remarks in his hometown, New York City, which went for more than an hour, were overshadowed by comments made by warm-up speakers in the roughly 5 hours before his primetime address. They included a comedian's racist jokes about Latinos and Black Americans. We're gonna watch the comedian, okay? Now, it certainly was edgy. It certainly had some racial humor within it. But it's interesting. Racist jokes about Latinos and Black Americans. That very thin-skinned people, mostly liberal white people, were bitching about. But anyway, and were condemned by multiple Republican members of Congress, as well as speakers who used increasingly inflammatory language to describe Vice President Kamala Harris. Hello, Catnap. That's a new name in the chat. If you look, hey, you may like me, you may not like me. I'm just telling you right now before you get too deep into this. But I'm just saying, you are welcome to say whatever the fuck you want in my chat. And if you don't like me, I don't care. It's good. It's all good. You can subscribe to me anyway. So let's go. All right. To be sure, the Republican candidate remarks were not exactly anodyne. Trump, among other things, condemned Americans he disagrees with as enemies of this people, a phrase that echoed among others, Joseph Stalin. Bitch, please. As if Tim Walz and Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and Oprah fucking Winfrey and all the Eminem and all these motherfuckers supporting Harris don't say the same inflammatory shit about Donald Trump. It's just like, yes, they say mean shit about each other all the fucking time. Get over it. Holy shit. Anyway. Well, thank you for doing the like thing. And you subscribed. Awesome. I'd like to see that. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everyone you know. And you have a little cat emoji thing in your, not emoji. What's that thing? What is that? What is that? That's a purple cat. That's cool. I like purple shit. I live in Minnesota, so purple, that's kind of a Minnesota thing. Okay. A phrase echoed among others, Joseph Stalin. Yes, Avatar. I don't know. Hey, Shia, what's up? Trump also lied uncontrollably, called the United States an occupied country. Do they not understand metaphors? Peddled familiar grievances and conspiracy theories, and presented a closing argument to the electorate that reflected his radicalism. Yes, see, to you, doing normal shit is radical, and doing radical shit should be normal. That's, I know y'all think. But before the GOP nominee even reached the stage, the audience was presented with an avalanche of racist and misogynistic comments. One speaker echoed a rally goer who called Harris the devil. Oh no, the devil and the Antichrist. Oh no, the Antichrist. Fuck me. Right-wing media personality Tucker Carlson joked that the Democratic vice president, who is of Black and Indian descent, would be the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ former California prosecutor ever to be elected president. Oh my God! He told a joke about her, highlighting multiple ethnicities. Oh my God, y'all! Jesus Christ! The man named, now here we go. This is the comedian that they don't like. The man named Tony Hinchcliffe, who describes himself as a comedian, who describes himself as a comedian. He doesn't do any comedy. He just describes himself. He's like the, okay, let me think of a good example for this. He's like the dad, who, he's got some adult children and he says, yes, I am an athlete. That'd be like, but maybe he played professional football one time in his career, so that would make him an athlete, but that's not a good one. I'll think of something better later. A man named Tony Hinchcliffe, who described himself as a comedian, told attendees that Latinos, quote, love making babies, end quote, because, quote, there's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside just like they did to our country, end quote. Oh my God, he made a sex joke. Should I read it in a better way? He told attendees that Latinos love making babies because there's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside. Just like they did to our country. He also targeted Puerto Rico, you lovely island, describing it as a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now, end quote. Now, isn't it interesting how they wrote that? So he made a joke about, things happening when there's floating piles of garbage in the ocean. And he said, but enough about Puerto Rico. Now, again, it's a joke that's meant to be a little out there and edgy and shit. Well, we have a resident Puerto Rican in the chat. We're actually on Puerto Rico. Let me ask you something. Was that joke highly offensive to you? Because look, he made the joke about black people and watermelons. I was like, yeah, that's you're digging into some really old material there. Because there's much better jokes you could make about black people than saying something about carving watermelons. But he was talking about his friend, and his friend was right there, and he's like talking to him about carving watermelons. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a tired joke. Couldn't you think of something better, like twerk it or pants to your knees or some shit? But no, you chose watermelons. It was a lame joke. I didn't care. It didn't offend me. Fuck all. Reaction on Puerto Rico. Let me know in the chat. By the way, thank you, Avocados Diabli, another sponsor to the show. Thank you, sir. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, aka $2.23. Says, since we have another new viewer, you should explain your penchant for Ice Shack hookers again. Let them know what they are in for and all. AD, everything I said nice about you earlier, I'm doubling down. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We'll talk about Ice Shack hookers later. Catnap. I just remember the phrase. Ice Shack hookers. Now, Catnap, what are you putting in my... What are you putting in my chat about? What does all this cat shit? And oh, I got you. Anyway, why are we deleting shit? Don't delete messages. These are all good, unless did he do something wrong? Something happened here. Anyway, all right, here we go. He didn't do anything wrong. Don't be deleting shit, do stuff there, unless it's. The only thing I don't like in my chat is people directly attacking each other. You can attack me all you want, but don't attack each other. And do I like cats? No, I'm not a cat person. I just like, whatever. All right. The Napster has been limited. What? Tell me what was going on with the cat that I missed. Did I miss something? He's his own self repeating Frankenant. I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's see. Now, a handful of congressional Republicans denounced the attempts at humor, though they remain focused on Hinchcliffe and not the other speakers. Republicans also criticized Donald Trump. That's another theme lately. Yeah, all the messages disappeared. That's what I was trying to figure out, and they're removed. And I'm not sure. When Harris scheduled an event in Houston, it wasn't because she seriously expected to compete for Texas's 40 electoral votes. Rather, the Democratic campaign hoped to make a broader point to the nation. Why is this in the middle of the thing? I'm confused. A broader point to the nation about the real-life consequences of the Republican Party's radical agenda. Similarly, when Trump scheduled an event in Madison Square Garden 2 days later, it wasn't because his campaign saw the Empire State electoral votes as up for grabs. It was because the GOP nominee also hoped to deliver a message that to the American electorate far outside the 5 boroughs. To a very real degree, Trump and his unhinged pals succeeded, though not in the way they intended. The Republican Madison Square Garden event was ugly. It was offensive. It was vulgar. It was hateful. It drew obvious parallels to the 1939 event. The New York Times described the gathering as a, quote, release of rage, end quote. Now, it's hilarious. It's hilarious when they always, Republicans, hateful, rage, unhinged. Democrats just joyous and happy and loving, whatever. You wait till if Trump wins this election and you see how much love and tolerance they have. We saw it in the 2017 inauguration. They were burning cars and tipping, destroying, businesses and talking about making explosions at the house of is white lack of color or all the color spectrum? I can't remember. Black is lack of color. Black's the entire spectrum of color, and white is the no color. So yeah, that. Okay, if you're 9, you should not be in my chat because I swear a lot. Anyway, yeah, the Democrats would be totally unhinged if Trump won, and certainly the rhetoric they use is just as intense as the rhetoric the right uses, and in fact, they're more likely to be violent. They so it's Republicans say, okay, we'll get through it, and Democrats lose their fucking minds. It's just how it is. And, it's just the nature of the two. You don't see a Chaz popping up in, Nashville. you don't see the federal building or something in San Antonio being sieged for 6 months and people trying to, put the people who work in its lights or eyes out with lasers. It's crazy. But here you go. Let me finish this shit up. It drew obvious parallels to the 1939 event. A racist display of the dark energy animating the MAGA movement. Except they were all having fun. It's crazy. It was not, however, surprising. Trump's, whose entire political persona is rooted in racism, it's not. Oh my God. Projection is running on an authoritarian platform. Really? Can you give me some examples? Protecting America's borders. Is that authoritarian? Is he talking about... Oh, God. You claim he will when you watch Democrats do. That's the crazy part of it. Hello, Willie. Willie won't go home. Well, yes. And then let's see. With 10 days remaining before Election Day, he held a right-wing rally filled with enraged and bigoted messages. Well, yes, he did. Of course he did. This is the Republican Party and its nominee for the nation's highest office in 2024. Politico's report described the event as a political fiasco. For the Trump campaign, it was a critical time. We'll soon learn enough whether it pays a price. It's funny because I don't know if you can sling any more mud at Trump because that's been constant for 10 years. But what I think people also know, some people, not everybody, people also know what it was like during the first 3 years of Trump's presidency. Nobody died. There were no internment camps. They didn't round up, he didn't prosecute Hillary. He didn't demand the Department of Justice prosecute Hillary Clinton. They didn't do any of the shit they said he would do. They did, black people, we were not back in chains. I'm chain free the whole time of his presidency. Okay. The slavery didn't get, the 13th Amendment, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment did not get repealed. And in fact, for the most part, we just, the illegal immigrant thing slowed down for a lot. And the economy is good, man. Boy, oh boy, the economy was good. And then we got COVID, okay, which I don't know that any president in the world would have done any better. Remember, here's the problem with COVID and our COVID dying numbers, whatever. And now I'll get a load of these little things under my video on YouTube. Let's say, well, here's the true COVID truth. But because of our American obesity problem, I'm sure COVID had something to do, obviously, with the age, because who were the most likely to die from COVID? Old people and fat people. Like people who are obese. had a real tough time with COVID. That was the most. Now, there are certainly exceptions to that, but that was the most. And America, obviously, the United States has a fat problem. I'm not fat shaming, but, if you want to live longer, lose some weight. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, but and so maybe that's why it affected us more than some other countries, because we're fatter than most countries. But, so I don't know if there's any way anybody could have done better with it. And certainly the Democrat governors who dropped COVID patients into nursing homes sure didn't help. The Democratic governors who kept people from their jobs longer to affect the election as much as give a shit about COVID didn't help. It's so funny because the unemployment rate when Donald Trump left office was back down to 6%, which is historically low. But it didn't get back down to the 4% that it was early in his term, which was lower than when it was under Barack Obama. But it was down to 6%, and it's funny because the Biden-Harris administration likes to make you think that unemployment was at 9-10%. No, it wasn't. When you took office, unemployment was at 6%. Because most of the Republican states were letting people go back to work. People were going back to work, and then also they calculate it weird because they don't count the people who are no longer looking for jobs. But because the labor participation rate still sucks. It's still lower, right? But you're looking at a Harris Walls donate button below my channel. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Why is there even any kind of ad under my channel? Oh, because I have monetization. By the way, Free Breather, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. And whether you like me or not, I'm glad you're here. That's good. So anyway, so the idea that they made this miraculous. Wait, I had an Obama Get Out and Vote commercial before jumping. Wait, did you say Obama? There that shit is again. Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I can't control what ads go on my channel. I should complain. I should complain that there were offensive ads on my stream before this stream. That'll get me nowhere. That'll probably get me kicked off of YouTube. Anyway, let's get back into this. So we got what are the other things happening here? I had a bunch of them. Well, let's start with just some of the trending topics. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna go through some. Look, I'll leave the trending topics up. I want to just show you a few videos before I go because I'm running out of time here. Different things that happened related to this rally. Now, prior to the rally, New York Mayor Eric Adams was, I don't know if this is a press conference or what this is, but he was asked a question about this rally that was about to happen in Madison Square Garden, and he gave what I would say is a slightly surprising answer. Let's listen to this.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. I wondered if I could ask you about any communications you've been having with the Trump campaign about this rally or otherwise, and if you believe, as others have said, that the former president is a fascist.
That is a real question from, I'm assuming, a real reporter to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Oh, you meant Barry Soetoro? What the? I got to get that fixed. Here's his answer to whether or not he thinks Donald Trump is a fascist.
I have been had those terms hurled at me by some political leaders in the city, using terms like Hitler and fascist. My answer is no. I know what Hitler has done, and I know what a fascist regime looks like. I think, as I've called over and over again, that the level of conversation, I think we could all dial down the temperature And I've heard people say that the former president should not be able to have a rally in Madison Square Garden. I strongly disagree.
Talk that shit.
This is America. This is New York. And
His home, the damn man's
important that
hometown.
we allow individuals to exercise their right to get their message clear to New Yorkers. And our job as a city and as a police department is to make sure they can do that in a peaceful way. I think that
Who is this
we must
guy?
be extremely cautious. The heat we turn up today, pre-election, is going to have to be the heat we're going to have to govern in. And I think we need to show a level of respectable communication. And so when people called me fascist and other terminologies, I didn't like it. And I don't think it's fitting to anyone to state that the former president is equal to being Hitler. I just think that this is a city where we have the largest Jewish population. Anti-Semitism is on a rise nationally. We need to do everything we can to push back on that level of anti-Semitic tone and anti-Semitic issues that we're facing in the city. Let's have a safe, fair, democratic process and show the globe how we're able to do it correctly.
Who the hell is that man? Eric Adams, giving a sane answer. He's a Democrat, too. Of course, he's been taking a little bit of heat from the crowd because he won't call Trump a bad man as much as everybody else, and so now they hate him. And they also got mad at the Biden administration about the immigration shit. So I think he's had enough of the Biden-Harris administration. You know, Harris, that's Harris. That name sounds familiar. Biden-Harris. Oh, yeah, she's that's Kamala Harris. That's the Harris in Biden-Harris. And she doesn't remember if there was anything, she doesn't remember if there's anything that she would change about what their administration did. And she is the Harris in Biden-Harris, right? He's right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So anyway, so that's interesting. Good for Mayor Adams for not playing the game, not, joining in on the bullshit talking points. Okay. Now, another video that I just pulled up. This is another one because somebody one time said you should do more videos. New York won't flip red, but the numbers could well change to a closer set. Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think Donald Trump is doing, because he's certainly, obviously, he's been in Pennsylvania, Michigan, whatever. Those are the two big ones. He's been in some of the swing states, but he's also going to other states. Like he was in California, for example. He was in, obviously, Madison Square Garden. And I think what Donald Trump is doing, and the trends seem to be supporting this idea, that he doesn't just want to win the Electoral College. He wants to win the popular vote so that he can do one of these. This is just a pre-enactment of what he wants to do. I'm going to just put my microphone away from me for a second. I'm going to show you what he wants to do, that if he wins the Electoral College and the popular vote. Now, I'm not predicting this, but this is just if this happens, right? Here's what I think he will do. Gotcha, bitch. That's what I think he's going to do. Gotcha, bitch. See? Motherfuckers. Not in those exact words, but you know what I mean. So anyway, let's see. Here's another one. This is someone who's at that rally. Oh, wait. Let me come back before I go to that. I got to read something because this is about that rally, by the way, the Nazi rally, because very interesting. Someone this is a comment in a blog that I was just checking out. And here's a very salient point. And here's what it says. In fact, I'll put it on the screen. It's from the Ace of Space blog. It's my favorite blog. I never knew there were so many fascists in the United States. There was a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden last night filled to the rafters with fascists. And the speakers, all well-known fascists. Dr. Phil, I didn't know Dr. Phil was a fascist. Hulk Hogan, Dana White, all Tucker Carlson, all fascists. Oh, and Lee Greenwood, a well-known Nazi propagandist with his fascist "God Bless the USA" song. God, that song is so fascist. The way, the lakes of Minnesota and the tills of Tennessee. That's just some fascist shit. So many Borman, so little time to list them all. Oh, and how can I forget the right-winger RFK Jr. and well-known Nazi Elon Musk, and of course Hitler himself, the golden scalp weasel, and his wife, the second coming of Ava Brown. It was just horrible, just fucking horrible. But his real name is Fred? Who's Fred? Yeah, anyway, there were so many fascists. So anyway, then there's this chick who was at the rally, and she had some concerns, and I at first I thought she was trolling, but then listen to this. This may have some validity. Here we go.
Okay, guys, something that's probably not going to be reported, let's report it right now. All these concession stands, all of them, right now, they're closed.
All the concession stands were closed at Madison Square Garden while all the speakers were speaking, except, you'll hear it.
You have people that are starving.
Now, they're not starving. They're just, there's some hungry people who expect to be able to get in the concession stands, maybe get a bottle of water, maybe, one of those $27 hamburgers and shit. But anyway.
People that are thirsty. And
thirsty,
what
yes.
we are being told is the reason why these concession stands are closed is because they want people in their seats right now. However, we're being told that once Donald Trump takes the stage, the concession stands are going to open. Make that make sense.
It doesn't make sense. No, it makes perfect sense, and she's going to tell you why. Trump doesn't serve alcoholism. Well, I didn't say beer. I said a $27 hamburger, not a $27 Modelo. But nachos or something, and a bottle of water, or maybe a giant Coke or something, or a Diet Coke. Donald Trump drinks Diet Coke. Okay. But anyway, here it is.
Starve people. And you're going to make them so thirsty that the only option that they have to get up and get something to eat and quench their thirst is when Donald Trump is up on stage. Sorry, I'm calling.
So they did. They were going to, and this is exactly why they did it. And I think she says this. So they were going to have all the concessions closed until Donald Trump got on stage. Now, this is a 5-hour rally. So you think that, oh my gosh, they're finally going to open these concession stands when Donald Trump's speaking. What? There it is. Mike Savage. They're going to show they wanted shots of people leaving the arena during Trump speaking.
Bullshit right now. You're doing it to get your footage and make it seem like people are leaving his rally, but really, you starved us and left us with nothing, not even water to drink. It also should be known that we're being told from inside the garden they are believing the Trump campaign. It's their orders. We don't believe that it's the Trump campaign orders. So don't worry, we're calling the bullshit. But inside the garden, they're telling us, sorry, we're following the orders of the campaign. Please make that make sense. Why on
They
earth
wouldn't do that.
Would you want any?
You would close the concessions when Donald Trump was about to speak. That's when you want people in their seats. They don't. I mean, all the other speakers, great, but the during that. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if that was the strategy. I'm surprised too that some infiltrators didn't come in with some, with Nazi flags or whatever, or waving something. They don't. I haven't seen any of the pictures yet of anyone doing that, but I'm sure that was. I'm sure somebody tried to, and I bet that. Immediately, any Trump supporters would actually tell them to fuck off and get out. All right, next video is about, John Kelly comparing Donald Trump to Hitler. Here's this one. I don't know who this guy is who's talking, but here we go. This is a good one. This one makes sense too.
So check this out. So General
Check it out.
John Kelly, who suddenly tells us that Trump admires Hitler, Trump admires Hitler's generals. Trump says Hitler did some good things, according to General.
And remember, the Hitler part of this Trump and whatever, the John Kelly hates Donald Trump thing and he's an idiot and whatnot. This is the first time we've heard this one. And you would think you would have heard it last election, midterm elections, in the book. You'd think you would have heard about this way before now, not 2 weeks before an election. So I'm calling bullshit on John Kelly anyway. But listen to this.
John Kelly in the Atlantic. Is the general telling the truth, or could there be something else motivating these comments? Well, it turns out, and you just do a little bit of digging, General John Kelly sits on the board of the company that operates the biggest migrant shelter for unaccompanied children who are coming over the border without parents or guardians. That company is called DC Capital Partners, and they own two other companies called Acuity International, and the other one's called Valiance Humanitarian. Yes, and you know what they get? Massive contracts, no bid, meaning they don't have to bid against other companies, from the government.
Speaking of which, and this kind of parallels on the landlord situation in some small towns where they're putting in these large contingents of illegal border crossing migrants, right? So we talked about that, before, how in Springfield, when they have all the Haitians, there's like 15 to 20,000 Haitians in a town of 68,000 people. Although the metro area of Springfield, so to speak, is about 120,000. Either way, you put that many people into one town and you give them government subsidized housing or government vouchers to pay for housing. And then the landlords are like, well, I can make a hell of a lot more on these subsidized migrants than I can on the tenants I had in there. So they just end leases, and then, it just raises the price of housing dramatically in a small town like that, because government money, somebody's going to take that government money and use it to its full extent. So this is the same thing where, these contractors who are taking care of migrant children, they stand to lose a lot of money if Donald Trump comes into office.
So now, if Trump is about to be elected and he's going to close the border down, and that means all those unaccompanied minors and children who don't have their family with them or parents, it's possible that General Kelly isn't too excited because his shelters won't be filled up with unaccompanied migrant children.
It's interesting. That's been an argument against the privatization of prisons too. But I'm not so sure that is completely parallel. Maybe it is, but do you think judges, unless they have stock in, private prison companies, are sentencing people to prison because they want to keep the private prisons filled, or they give a shit about private prisons being filled? I'm curious. Anyway.
Which means those giant contracts could go away. You think the Atlantic would just...
No, I didn't say microchip. I said migrant. I just don't enunciate well. Migrant. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Did I just do that? Migrant. This isn't my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around and down on time and dance, rock around and rock on time is tricky. Sorry, sometimes I go. If you're new here, every once in a while I just go off on a music tangent for no reason whatsoever. Real quick, thank you JB for the super chat, who says Trump is literally an Austrian dictator from 1939. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus among these assholes. Okay. Let's finish this.
Tiny bit of digging. If your business is built on open borders, maybe you have a slight bias against Trump becoming president.
Yes. So anyway, what's this? JB. Wow, super chat way to be unbiased. Yes. For some reason, someone will probably clip me saying that too, won't they? All right. Next video. By the way, so one of Chameleon Harris's many talents is being a chameleon. That's why I call her Chameleon Harris. I cannot believe nobody else has done that. I don't see it anywhere. Chameleon Harris. It's perfect. It's a take on her name, but it kind of Chameleon Harris, Kamala Harris, Chameleon Harris, Kamala Harris. It sounds a little bit like the same, and nobody's doing it. And she fucking is a chameleon. It's amazing. No one said it. I look, if anyone else uses that term, you need to credit me for that shit. Chameleon Harris. So anyway, Chameleon Harris, one of her, besides having Beyonce, which I didn't even talk about that one yet. Besides having Beyonce as one of her, final closing arguments for her becoming president, she also went to a black church, which, it's funny because she claims that, she talks about her pastor or whatever at her church, but remember, she grew up in Berkeley. Her father's an atheist. Her mother's Hindu. She also grew up in Montreal. So she always talked about, I grew up in the church. What church did you grow up in? After your parents got divorced, you lived with your mother, who was Hindu, and all your family is Hindu. All your pictures are Hindu. You're the first Indian senator. What church did you grow up in? Now, are you even a Christian now? Oh my God. Wait a minute. No, this is an unfortunate screen freeze. That is a very, very unfortunate screen freeze. I can't believe they did it. Well, maybe they did that on purpose. Anyway, there's some interesting parallels between Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, and not just the pantsuits.
I don't feel no ways tired. Come too far.
Too far.
From where I started from.
Oh Lord, tell me, sing
Nobody
it.
told me
Tell me,
that
woman,
the
tell me.
road would be easy.
Jesus saves.
I
Tell
don't
me.
believe he brought me this far.
Tell me, Jesus.
To leave me.
Yes.
Weeping may endure for a night,
Oh my God. Did you?
but joy cometh in the morning.
Oh my God. Oh
The
my
path may
God.
seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning. And
She
church morning
never
is
talks this way. What the actual hell was that?
I don't feel
Shut
no
up,
ways
Hillary.
tired.
God damn it. So, yeah, there's Kamala Harris again, doing that chameleon thing. I'm sorry, did I call her Kamala? It's Chameleon Harris. Here, in fact, I'm gonna do this right now. Where it is, quote, tweet. Chameleon Harris, at it again. Chameleon Harris. And she also talks, he's a Hispanic accent when she's talking to Mexicans and Hispanic peoples. I shouldn't just say Mexicans. There's more than just Mexicans as Hispanic people. Yes, well, Kamala put the hot sauce Hail Mary. No, she already did with the washing collard greens in the bathtub. That's nasty. My mother would beat her ass if she saw someone trying to wash collard greens in the bathtub. Shit. All right. Well, I've got a couple more videos. What's this one? Black conservatives are destroying the Democrats' playbook and the media too. Black conservatives on fire recently. Here's a must watch. This is 3 minutes long. Am I going to watch this whole damn thing? Well, is this my last video? Oh no, I got 2 more. All right. I'm going to try not to do a lot of commentary on this. I have 3 more. I can't do all these. We'll do this one first. We'll do some of it. This brother decided that he wasn't having it. He was not having it.
You don't want her to win the White House, but do you agree with how she performed in that interview?
I believe that interview was a masterclass in why there is a statistically significant amount of black men who are tired of listening to the media
and telling her to
done
shut the
entertaining
fuck up.
Democratic Party. You listen to Kamala Harris talk about a plan for Black America. They've rolled out a plan for Black America. My grandfather told me a very long time ago, never trust a man who promises to do tomorrow what they had the power to do yesterday.
Ooh,
If
shit!
Kamala Harris was so committed to these plans for black men in particular,
Oh!
she's had many instances where she
Talk
done
that
these
shit!
things as a senator, as an attorney general, and certainly
She
in her
had the
capacity
chance
as a vice
already.
president.
And
So I do believe,
look, hold up. Now, obviously, the obvious retort to this would be, but she's not the president, so she couldn't enact anything. Okay, Okay. Miss Chameleon Harris, did you ever suggest any of these things that you're now proposing to the president? Because you are the vice president. You're the last person in the room. You're the one who has his ear. You're the one who has to, help change his diaper when he soils himself. Did you ever suggest any of these things to him? Because whether or not you had the power to do them yourself, you certainly had the power to suggest him. You're the number 2 person in the most powerful person in the entire damn world. So did you suggest any of this shit to him? Whether you did it or not. I mean, he said you were his most trusted advisor. So did you suggest any of this shit? Well, Brett, I was born in a middle-class family. I didn't ask you that, bitch! Anyway.
You have that.
Hold up. Thank you again, JB. Another deuce in the tip jar. For the record, I was surprised. Super chat allowed that. I am too. They let you say that. In fact, someone the other day who was tweeting to me would not write the word fascist out in the correct spelling. And it was on X, which X don't give a fuck what you say. You can drop N-bombs. You can write, fuck you. You can do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes they'll suggest, well, maybe you want to change this language. And I say, no, I don't. I'm using this language. But anyway, so yeah, I am a little surprised, but it was vague enough that you could, it wasn't like you wrote Hitler in the chat. Anyway, here we go.
Talking about a multi-trillion-dollar plan for reparations, all while we ignore the fact that California has already studied reparations, only for the Democrats that said they were committed to passing it, to saying they weren't actually going to write the check. Black men are tired of what appears to be empty promises coming from a Democratic Party.
I mean, Joe, if you're on...
The promises they're making are too late, too, okay? All the promises you make to, say, black men or, whatever infinity group you want to talk to, you're always talking about, but especially black people, okay? The problem is, any of us black folk, me using black vernacular, black folk, because, that's what we say. I don't. I grew up around white people. I don't talk that way mostly. But anyway, all of us black folk who would take advantage of anything that they would do, and for the most part, have already taken advantage of anything that they say they'll do. So, for example, if you say you're going to give black entrepreneurs, a $50,000 tax credit or this or that, but you're doing it for black entrepreneurs. Well, guess what? The people who are going to take advantage of that are generally already, 1, finished their education, 2, are already someone entrepreneurial. You're not helping. You're helping middle-class black people do more middle-class shit. When the problem of the small, it's again, and it's not all, remember, only a small percentage of black people are under poverty. Now, it's a higher percentage of that particular demographic than other demographics, but still, the problem is you're not fixing the problem there before they get to the point where they would say, oh, well, maybe I'm thinking about starting a business. Because that portion of the population can't read. That portion of the population is not graduating from school. That portion of that population is not doing basic math. The portion of that population, it has certain cultural aspects that are within poor communities that do not encourage anything that will make them succeed. So you're already missing those people, and you're still going to be missing those people with all this bullshit that you come up with that says, oh, well, we're going to make some more black entrepreneurs. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. Again, even with, and I see this at college, I know this in my own experience. I got, I was already like one of the top students in my high school, and then they offered me these scholarships for black people that I could have got without the scholarship for black people. Because I'm half, well, I grew up in a black family, so yes, I am black. I'm 50%. My father's is Nigerian. My natural father's Nigerian. My natural mother is almost 100% Irish, for those who don't know. But I grew up black. I grew up in a black family because I was adopted. I was a black family. And because I was black, I qualified for some of these other special incentive scholarships that I was already could have got done without them. Now, did I take them? Of course I did. They were available. I took them. But the point is, you're not helping the people who never fucking finished high school. You're not helping the people who finished high school but can't read still. You're not helping the people who said, fuck it, I ain't never going to learn nothing at school. I'm not going to try. That's where you need to put your efforts. And you're not. Because you don't want to admit that those schools are failing those kids because all the people teaching those kids are on your side of the aisle. That's why you don't like school choice. Because maybe you could prove that those people aren't doing their job, and the parents who really want to get out of that situation and away from the kids who don't give a fuck anymore, you want control over them. So it's just bullshit. I'm sorry. All right, that's that one. There's two more. I don't have time. I'm running out of time. But you got to watch this Chris Cuomo clip. No, this is only a minute long. We're going to just watch the continued evolution of Chris Cuomo because he's, oh my God, he's on fire lately. And I'm still not fond of him, but yeah, he's starting to just be a normal guy. Let's put it this way. The chains of CNN no longer entangle him at all. Listen to this.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't.
And whether they do or not.
They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job.
Yeah.
They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior.
That he's a what?
Because they're putting
a jackass.
him into a terrible place.
Wait, let me go back. You got to hear that again.
Those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior because they're putting him into a terrible place.
Right?
Sending somebody
he's sending him into all those jackasses in Congress.
To the jungle. Do you really care if they're a savage?
What the fuck happened to Chris Cuomo? If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you care if they are a savage? Who's that sound like? If you're sending somebody to go deal with a bunch of jackasses, do you care if they're a jackass? I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. What the fuck happened to Chris Cuomo?
You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like.
Yes.
But that's what it is.
Yes, Chris Cuomo.
You got to stop thinking that the people
Chris
who
Cuomo just
Trump,
had what's that dude's name? What's the comedian? What's the comedian that why am I blanking out on this comedian's name? The black comedian that lives in Ohio that getting hot water with all the liberals because he makes a lot of trans jokes. What's his name? I can't remember. There's two more videos. One, just an ad about why men want nothing to do with Harris. And there's other articles in the links. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drop the links in the chat. I got to go. I'm way over time and I'm going to be late. So, that's not unusual. So anyway, everything we did so far, plus a few other things will be in the links today. I'm going to drop those in the chat just now. And give me a second. There we go. No, Cat Williams too, but I'm thinking of Dave Chappelle. That's who I was thinking of. He's had a Dave Chappelle moment there, seeing why people like Trump. You know, even though Dave Chappelle didn't like Trump, but he respects the fuck out of Trump. And that's why. Because, hey, if you're sending someone to deal with jackasses, do you give a fuck if he's a jackass too? I don't. And that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. You can have your own fucking opinion about it. Jimmy crack corn and I don't care. That's a slave song joke. Anyway, here are the links from today. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is P-Dog Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I'm sitting here doing the t-shirts muted. Okay, so Sublime t-shirt from 1996, Shrapnel, Avocado Stably, a t-shirt from 1989 with Charles Manson on the front. I silk screened the Manson family looking like the Brady Bunch on the back. That's hilarious. Shirt that says Heretic, that's Abominable Nation with Gothic on the front. Also, Avocado Stably has a t-shirt from about the same time, 1989, with Tracy Lords on it. I have no idea who Tracy Lords is. And finally, Mike Savage has one from 1983. It's my navy shirt, white with blue trim at the neck with a blue harp center chest. It doesn't fit me anymore though. Yeah, I bet if I tried that shirt on, it would not work. Anyway, all right, that's it. Bye. Gotta go. Here's the outro again. I'm out of here. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.